And we're live. Hi everybody. Everybody's gonna watch. People's gonna watch later. Whenever, wherever you're watching from, thank you. Tonight I want to talk to you about healing. I want to talk to you about how we can begin to heal the things that are hurting us. And the why of we sometimes stay stuck from healing. So first and foremost, I want to tell you that you are not broken in any way. You are whole. You are completely perfect. And you are where you're supposed to be. In the right time, in the right space. You are exactly where you're meant to be. So even though you might be hurting right now, I hope it can give you some comfort to know that you don't have to stay there. Because often what happens is that the events that hurt us in our past, we have a tendency to not leave them in the past. And by that I mean we carry on the feelings of those past events. So we kind of keep recreating circumstances or attracting people who can recreate some similarity from things that have hurt us in the past in order to stay safe. It sounds a little bit complicated and a little bit backward, but stay with me. So why do we do that? Why do we attract people that hurt us? Why do we create or recreate circumstances and events that will keep us in pain and suffering? We do this because this is how our brain actually operates. And until the time where we understand that this is how our brain operates and starts taking control, we will keep recreating. The brain does this because it preserves energy, basically. So you can divide the brain into three. You have the lizard brain, you have the normal brain, and you have the rational brain. And what happens when we are stressed out, tired, the rational brain actually switches off, and then you have the normal brain and the lizard brain, because they are much more persistent and can go for longer. And when we are in those areas of our brain, it's not about what's rational or does it make sense to keep hurting or does it make sense to not heal. It's more about survival, and it's more about doing what they know, because then they preserve energy. So that's kind of in very short, the science of why this happens. And I think there's a tendency to think that because we have experienced trauma and because things have happened to us, that this is kind of what we are meant to be in this life. The thing is, you are given the challenges in life you are for a reason. You will only be given the challenges that you can actually go through. So see it as a prize instead. See that if you have been given massive challenges, it's because you're capable. And the healing part starts when we start looking inwards and start taking responsibility for our own thoughts and our own emotions. It starts when we no longer look back at our life as victims, but look back and forgive in order to forgive ourselves from the shame and the guilt and whatever else you might have felt. Embarrassment could be one, in order to actually move forward. You see, the past is a past now. It doesn't exist anymore. So the only way you can have the feelings of the past is if you keep recreating it, be it in your mind or be it in the circumstances. So the journey starts by looking inwards and really taking responsibility and facing those fears and asking yourself, what is it that I keep recreating and why? So why is, of course, the brain reserving energy and just doing what it's supposed to do, but also ask yourself why. Does it in some way makes you feel safe because of the fear of the unknown, because this is how you know how to be? So then it comes down to self-image. So how are you perceiving yourself? What stories are you telling yourself? So one beneficial way can be looking at the stories that you tell yourself, about things that have happened, about other people, and write them down. Journal them down and try to flip them. Because there's this thing about that you will always be either the victim or the hero, and the other person is the villain. And yes, in certain circumstances, there are people that did things to you that hurt you, and they are the villain, but where are you being the villain in recreating that story? Recreating those events? Still living in that? That's what I mean by flipping it. So look at what are you doing right now? What are you telling yourself, about your life? The healing starts the moment we have the courage to look inwards. It starts the moment where we don't wait for people to save us, where we don't wait for looking perfect, being perfect, feeling better, because the feeling better is within your control. That is for you to decide and act upon. And see, here comes polarity. Polarity is, if you're feeling bad, no matter what kind of feeling bad, you can be sad, you could be doubting, you could be worried, there's always the polarity. So observe your feelings, look at them, allow them, welcome them, and be curious. So if you are feeling sad, for instance, what is the polarity of feeling sad? That's feeling happy. And then you can be, but there's nothing to be happy about, but there's always something to be happy about. It can be the smallest thing. Here comes appreciation. Write down every day 5 to 10 things that you appreciate. It doesn't matter how small it is. It can be a cup of coffee, a puppy playing, your plants in your house. Now I'm just mentioning my own things that I've used, which are so simple. But as you keep going, and you do this on a daily basis, this small exercise, it takes you less than 5 minutes a day. Do it in the morning, so you set the day for something positive, and focus on that. So embrace that feeling, and start working on your own happiness, not expecting it to come from external circumstances. And yes, it can be very difficult to grasp how easy it can start and how easy it can be, because we tend to have this thing about we want to make things complicated. And why do we want to complicate things? We want to complicate things to be the hero. We want to complicate things because then we can preserve our self-image, and then we can tell other people that, look what I have overcome, and then we become a hero because we actually endure all these challenges. But it's not a good way of living if you are in pain. I talked about this before, I call it false happiness. It's false because you're not happy, but it feels like you are happy or satisfied, I would say, because it's something you know. But if it's not serving you, if you're not enjoying your life and you're not being happy, it is not something that you should stick to. So, just to sum up a little bit, journal, appreciation, look at the things that is working in your life, and build on it. like really feel it. And I promise you, if you keep doing that, you will start to feel major changes within yourself. You will feel empowered. You will understand that you have the power to actually change how you feel. And you won't sit around waiting for people to help you, whatever it is you want the help for. If it's lack in money, lack in love, lack in health, no one can give you those things. You need to work on these things. So really have a deep look inside and understand that everything, even healing, starts from inside. And I mentioned forgiveness as well. This can be super difficult. I know this from myself, from having experienced various types of abuse. It can be very hard to forgive somebody for having done you harm, be it physical or mental. But you see, by not doing that, you keep that person within your life. It can only be in your thoughts, but you keep them there. So in order to move on, you have to forgive. In order to move on, you have to forgive them, to forgive yourself, because there's always some sort of shame or guilt that you project onto yourself, and then there's a blame. And when you have blame of others, you are the victim. And you will stay the victim until the moment that you realize letting go of that old, not going to say that word, but letting go of all that old thing, that is what's going to set you free. Regardless of what that person did, because they have to deal with that. That's not yours to take ownership of. It is not your job to make other people better people. You can't change people, you can only change you. Let them go with love and start working on you and your self-love, because that is the key to most things. So really work on the inner of yourself. And a third thing to do when it comes to self-love, and this can be so provocative. I've done it for a long time, so I'm comfortable with it, but still it can bring up fear and emotions of scarcity and feeling stupid and embarrassed and weird. But mirror work works wonders. So stand in front of the mirror. You can be clothed, you can be naked, you can do it however you want, and really look at yourself. Look yourself in the eyes. Take a few moments and do what you probably normally do. Look at all the mistakes. This is mostly for women, because men have a tendency to look at their good sides when they look in the mirror, and women does the opposite. But really, take a few moments, settle down, breathe, and then look yourself in the eyes and tell yourself you love you. You see, the validation has to come from inside. No one can really love you until you love yourself. And you can't really love anybody until you love yourself. So it can be a difficult exercise, because it can, as I said, be provocative, and it can really bring out tears in your eyes, because you maybe realize how little love you've been giving yourself. But it will move mountains for you. It will move blockages for you. It will open up your heart, and it will allow you to actually have that look inside and see what is the stories you're telling yourself about yourself. I will recommend, if you have, like some people suffer from depression and anxiety, and it can be very severe, that you of course also get some professional help. It's always important to look individually on the situation and see what will be beneficial for you, but you can do a lot of work yourself as well. So my point here is, yeah, you can get the help, but you need to do the work either way. No psychologist or therapist is going to save you. They can give you the tools, but you have to do the work still. So healing is an inside job. And healing is about taking responsibility of your own happiness. And by that, your own future. And I hope for all of you that even though you feel like you have nothing that you need to heal, or wherever you might be in life, I hope you will try this anyways, because it really helps in all situations. It can be with confidence, it can be with attracting the right kind of people, it can be with just your own, how you're feeling about yourself in your life. So even though you haven't experienced trauma, or you haven't gotten anything you think you need to heal, this can still be very beneficial for you. I'm going to keep it short. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas, you are more than welcome to contact me. I'm going to do my next live in 2 weeks, so that will be the 14th of October, and until then I will keep posting quotes, and I have some exciting things coming up soon. I still have a course on the 12th of October, Empower Yourself. It's on the page, so there are still room for more people if you want to join. And on the 14th, I'm going to talk about fear. Which I'm very excited about. It's a subject that, if you're human, you have fear. That's just how it is. So it relates to everybody, but I'm going to talk about it from different angles. So until then, I hope you will enjoy your life, and I send you lots of love, and I hope you tune back in. Again, any questions, anything, don't hesitate to write me.